Bucks fans will say Brian Windhorst's new theory is fake news, but this is the man who once said the Jazz were gonna trade Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert before it happened. He saw something weird about the moves they were making.
Why would the Jazz do that?
And he was right, but now he sees something weird in Milwaukee that could lead to Giannis leaving. I want to lay out his theory, but there is one key thing Windhorst actually gets wrong. So, Windy says that the old Bucks owner Mark Lazary selling the franchise is weird. I mean, why would you sell when the team is great, you have an MVP, you own the arena? I mean, yes, he did make $2 billion on the sale, but he could have done that anytime. Why now? Because very soon, the team could be a disaster. Giannis could choose to leave because he can't win there. So the first thing they did to keep Giannis happy is fire Coach Mike Budenholzer. Coach Bud, again, made horrible decisions in the playoffs. He is known for being bad at adjustments. Giannis was pissed when they asked him about that after losing to Miami.
Do you think you made enough adjustments over Jimmy over the stretch of this series?
We didn't.
You know Giannis was asked about firing Coach Bud, so they did it to make him happy. But now, do they re-sign his teammates, Brook Lopez and Chris Middleton? It is getting really expensive to bring everyone back. But if they don't, the roster is weak. So the old owner saw all this and decided, I'm gonna sell now, because Giannis could leave, then this thing ain't worth $3 billion. But why not just re-sign all of his teammates? Because the new CBA is making it impossible to keep great teams together. But first, today's sponsor is Prize Picks. It's actually been a lot easier to make picks for Prize Picks in the postseason. Last week's pick that I gave you guys, that hit. I've hit 3 more times this week. One of the things I've been doing is like, if a star has a bad game, I'm picking him for the next game. So let me give you my 2 picks for tonight. First up, I'm going with Julius Randle's rebounds plus assists. 12 is a small number for Julius in this spot, and it's also a small number for Kyle Lowry in terms of his fantasy score. And I'm going more and more. Hopefully you take those picks and they hit. You can play in states like California, Florida, and Texas. Also, I want to give a shout out to our 5 winners of the AM Hoops 1K giveaway. If it's your first time signing up, I can't believe it because they've been with AM Hoops like all year, but use promo code AM Hoops, you get a 100% deposit match bonus. You may have heard rumors about the CBA punishing great teams like the Warriors. The details are insane. We may never see another dynasty again. When you actually see these details, I'm surprised more fans aren't angry about this. The most expensive teams like the Warriors or the Bucks no longer have the mid-level exception to sign players, which is key to making a good team better. It's how the Dubs got Dante DiVincenzo. The Bucks got Joe Ingles. But they also can't sign buyout players. The buyout market is huge every year. It's how the Clippers got Russ. Well, you can't get buyout guys? But making trades will be impossible. Trades. Instead of matching salaries 125% like normal, they can only match 110%, which is tough. Like the Nets couldn't have gotten James Harden 2 years ago. Oh, forget though trying to get a good player. The most expensive teams can't put together multiple salaries to get one big player. Like, you know, all those trades we always cook up like for fun? Like if I did, Kyle Lowry plus Tyler Hero and picks for Damian Lillard. Nope. The most expensive teams can't do a bunch of players for one player. What? But it gets worse. The most expensive teams are restricted on how many picks they can trade. Normally, you can trade 4 first-round picks as long as they're not in consecutive years. Well, these teams now can only trade 3. But also, the most expensive teams will always get the last pick in the draft, no matter what their record is. So a couple of years ago, the Warriors had Steph and Clay injured, right? So they were horrible, but they got the number 2 pick for James Wiseman. Not anymore. Now the Warriors would be sent to the back of the draft, no matter what. So the new owner was like, yo, it is going to be impossible to win with Giannis in the future, especially a small town like Milwaukee. They don't get free agents, and now they can't build with the draft or with trades or with buyout guys. The new TBA screws them, so he sells the team now. But the one thing Windhorst did get wrong is when he said this.
He has said nothing but I love Milwaukee and I want to be in Milwaukee. There is no indication he has given that he wants to leave.
Love you, Wendy. That's not true. After the Bucks won their chip, Giannis said this: "What's the next challenge? It might not be here. Me and my family chose to stay in this city that we all love and is taking care of us for now. In 2 years, that might change. Just being totally honest with you." That is honest. Ain't no Damian Lillard loyalty. And you know what? I like that from Giannis. I hate when players say one thing to try to make everybody happy, but then they go the back door and do another thing. He is telling us, I might leave one day, and we will know more in just 4 months. That is when Giannis is eligible for an extension. If he doesn't sign that in September, it is panic time in Milwaukee. Now, if he does, this all goes away for a while, but what happens if he refuses to sign? Well, the Bucks could just trade Giannis immediately with 2 years left on his deal and probably get back the biggest haul in a trade ever. But I do not expect that to happen because no matter what Milwaukee gets back, they lose that trade. The last player they had like Giannis was Kareem 40 years ago, so they need to keep him. They would run it back and try to win with him. But if that fails, the clock is ticking. They could then trade him with 1 year left, like when the Raptors got Kawhi, or they could wait to the trade deadline. Every team would be interested, but the number one rumor right now is the Knicks. Why? Because they're a big market, obviously, and they have the most exciting path to a super team. In the summer of 2025, New York can have about $60 million in cap space. That allows them to trade players and picks for Giannis and have money left over for another star. But look at these other stars. Here's free agents in 2025. They could add Jason Tatum or Brandon Ingram, Donovan Mitchell, OG Anunoby, Jamal Murray, older vets like Anthony Davis, Jimmy Butler, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard. I could even see a world where New York signs a young star like Jason Tatum and gets an older vet on a cheap deal who's like really wants to win a ring like a Jimmy Butler. But every team's interested, right? I think there are 2 teams that would be frontrunners that Giannis would look at. And really the only factor is winning. I don't think playing in a big city is really Giannis's personality. His priority is playing with talent. So we have to look at who has a young star now that will be in his prime later. And I know this sounds crazy, but the Oklahoma City Thunder, they are stacking young talent and will be in a position to trade for Giannis. OKC and the Jazz have the most picks to deal, but Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is officially a star. He will make first team All-NBA and is a point guard, which fits well next to Giannis. Also, if Chet Holmgren is great, he can play next to a center. Giannis already does with Brook Lopez. But the other team, you know it, is the Dallas Mavericks. Giannis and Luka would be an amazing big two, especially on offense. It would pair, potentially, the best 2 players in the NBA on the same team. Obviously, Luka has issues on defense. Giannis can cover up a lot of that. And they are both killers in the postseason. But we don't have to wait 2 years for the next super team. The Houston Rockets are the most interesting franchise this offseason. They have a plan for anyone paying attention to build a contender right now. Check it out.